Hey guys, Jimmy Vegas here, and let's talk about lighting. So in Unity there are many different types of lighting, and depending on what scenario or scene you're trying to create, different type of lighting may be required. The most basic type of lighting that we have, or the default one that we have, is this directional light. And what directional light does is it will illuminate the entire scene in the given color that you have. So you could literally change the color to a kind of red color. And you can see the tint here changes it to red. Changing the rotation as well also changes how the light looks. If you have very minimal rotation, you're not going to get much light, as you can see right here. You get a dark, eerie kind of look. However, full light, you can see right here, that red can be changed to yellow, changed to blue. You've always got that tint in the directional light. And as I say, this one illuminates the entire scene. So I'm going to turn that one off, and then I'm going to go to Game Object, Light, and then let's try Point Light. Point light illuminates a given area. For example, if we double click point light here, you can see it's surrounded by this yellow sphere. This yellow sphere is dictated by the range, which can be set right here. And if we set this to 20, you'll see it doubles in size. Obviously, the higher the range, the further this light will reach. The intensity is also important in any lighting, really, because if we have this as high intensity, you can see just how it changes here. Lighting also helps with making the quality of a scene better, but getting the right light is always important. So it's important to know what type of light you need for your scene. So if I set this back to, let's say, 2, and then zoom in, we can see how this is having an impact on the scene. So if we move it over here, we can see the light moves with wherever we have, as long as it's within this range. And obviously the further away we get, the dimmer it would get on any given object, and the closer, you can see just how much it illuminates this as opposed to everywhere else. So the next light that we can take a look at is Spotlight. Spotlight is exactly what it is. If we take it out, we can see how much of an impact this has on this area. You can see it illuminating very slightly here. However, we can change the range to be quite high and also change the intensity quite high, and you can see how it illuminates an actual spot, a given area. This can also be changed in color like we've done previously, so it's up to you what you want to deal with there. You can see how it changes, and once again the range can be changed. The spot angle is what makes this a little bit different, because you can change how the spot angle is all the way from 1 to 179. So if you want a very refined spot, you could have it just so. So with lighting, they are the three that you would probably experience more than anything. Area lighting is something a little different, because generally it's something that isn't necessarily used in the same way that we would use the other three. This is more for baked lighting, and baked lighting is something where we can think of it as a way of predicting what the lighting is going to be, and we can set that rather than render in real time. It's not something that I really deal with too much, because I prefer the other types of lighting, as we can see. The last thing I'm going to touch on is reflection and light probe. Now, something like a reflection probe is quite useful because it gives a bit more reflection and depth to a game, but it's not something a lot of people do use within Unity, and I guess, you know, for good reason, because it depends on what style of game they want to aim for. And you can see here changing the intensity is quite drastic. Lighting is something that people spend, you know, hours, days, weeks, months perfecting in a game before they're even happy, because lighting makes or breaks a game sometimes. Also worth noting that if we have all these lights on at once, it's probably not a good idea. Having too many light sources in a game may slow down your gaming experience, especially if they're all done in real time right here. If we were to do it baked, then that's a little different. I'm going to quickly touch on shadows, because you can set shadows. Obviously, things in the normal world do have shadows. You can either have hard or soft shadows. In minor game development, it doesn't really matter too much, but I generally like to go for soft shadows. I feel it just adds a little bit more depth than a hard shadow would. You're not going to see too much of an impact here, just because of the amount that I have in the scene is not a lot, but we should be able to see, if I move that up and down, we do have shadows roughly around here. So I would recommend experimenting with lighting more than anything, seeing what you can come up with and seeing how different types of light, these three that we've discussed mainly, how these three different types of light will reflect your scene and how each one of them may make the scene look different. So guys, I hope that's helped a little bit with lighting. I know it can be tough and there is a lot more to it than what I've covered here. But once you've got these basics down, you can just kind of run with it and really experiment and go mad with it. So guys, don't forget, subscribe, click the bell icon, stay up to date with all the content, and guys, thank you very much for watching.